The zombie outbreak had begun a few weeks ago, a sinister consequence of a scientific experiment gone horribly wrong. I had been isolating myself in my home, trying to wait out the chaos that had enveloped the world outside. It was a grim existence, filled with uncertainty and dread, but it was the only way I knew to stay alive. Each day I watched the news reports, hoping for a glimmer of hope or a sign that the situation was improving. But instead, the reports grew more dire with each passing day. Cities were in ruins, and the streets were overrun by the undead. My home had become my fortress, and I had taken every precaution to secure it. Windows were barricaded, doors reinforced, and supplies rationed. I had stocked up on canned food, bottled water, and medical supplies, preparing for the worst. One morning, as I peered out of my barricaded window, I saw them. A horde of zombies, their vacant eyes and decaying flesh a gruesome testament to the nightmare that had befallen humanity. They had surrounded my house, their relentless moans and guttural growls filling the air. Panic surged through me as I realized that my sanctuary had become a prison. The undead pressed against the barricades, their rotting hands clawing at the walls and windows, desperate to reach me. My heart raced as I watched the wood splinter and crack under their relentless assault. I knew I couldn't stay hidden forever. My supplies were dwindling, and the situation was growing increasingly dire. If I didn't find a way out soon, I would become just another victim of this relentless scourge. Desperation fueled my actions as I searched for any means of escape. I scoured the house for weapons, finding a baseball bat and a kitchen knife, meager tools to defend myself against the undead. But it was all I had. As the hours passed, the siege showed no sign of letting up. The zombies outside seemed to sense my presence, their hollow eyes fixed on the house as if drawn by an insatiable hunger. I knew I couldn't wait any longer. With trembling hands, I gathered what supplies I could carry and made my way to the attic. It was a last resort, a place to hide and regroup. I knew that if I were to survive, I needed to come up with a plan, a way to outsmart the undead that had surrounded my home. In the dim, dusty attic, I sat in silence, my mind racing. I had a map of the neighborhood, and I began to formulate a plan. There was a nearby grocery store that might still have supplies, and if I could make it there unnoticed, I might have a chance. But the journey would be perilous. The streets were crawling with the undead, and I would need to move with stealth and precision. I couldn't afford to make any mistakes. With my plan in place, I descended from the attic, my heart heavy with the weight of what lay ahead. The barricades were holding for now, but I knew they wouldn't hold forever. The siege had become a battle for my survival, and I was determined to fight back. As I made my way through the darkened house, I couldn't help but think of the world that had been lost. The outbreak had shattered the familiar rhythms of life, leaving behind a world of chaos and despair. But in the midst of the darkness, a spark of hope still flickered. I would do whatever it took to keep that spark alive, to survive in a world that had been forever changed by the horrors of the undead.
If you enjoy an exciting story like this, you should subscribe right now. Then you don't have to do it later.